In case you missed it, your host Kayla Blakesley is at it again. What did she say this time? Tune in to find out right now.
I want to hit the pause button this morning and circle back to the conversation that I had with John Dietrich, the owner of Zesto's on Broadway here in Fort Wayne, because, man, the more and more I dig into this story, the more I think we might be having the wrong conversation. Zesto's has been serving families at that location for nearly 80 years. Then in December of 2023, Project Me opened its recovery drop-in center across the street. John says by that following summer, things started changing.
Our concern is the repeated activity that we have personally witnessed near our family business, including disturbances, intimidating encounters, property damage, and situations that have made employees and customers feel unsafe.
Project Me, on the other hand, pushes back, saying, all these neighborhood problems existed before they arrived, and that, and I quote, discomfort should not be confused with a public safety issue. Here's my problem. Zesto's says it's documenting incidents. Security cameras have captured a lot of them. A school across the street has separately raised concerns, and police activity in that immediate area is up. We're talking drug deals being made on the street, individuals urinating on the side of the Zesto's building. You get the idea. Does that prove Project Me caused every incident? Absolutely not. No. But it also means I don't think you can simply wave this away as, quote, discomfort. Especially when John says business at his Broadway location, the one we're talking about, is down, while his other Zesto's locations are up. So after several failed attempts of communication with the founder of Project Me, John actually took his concerns to Fort Wayne Mayor Sharon Tucker. He says he sat down with her twice.
We came in the first time, and it was pretty productive. I mean, she seemed concerned and wanted to take care of these problems. But, she also expressed everybody just needs to be better neighbors.
Well, not everyone was exactly a better neighbor. So then John described the follow-up meeting, the second meeting, as, well, this is the way it is.
The response did not match all our documented and dated emails.
AKA what I feel like John got back from the mayor's office was suck it up, Buttercup. And that's where I have even more questions, because the city of Fort Wayne isn't completely removed from this organization. That's a fun little fact a lot of local media outlets have not been reporting. The city awarded Project Me $100,000 in opioid settlement funding for street outreach, harm reduction, and peer recovery coaching. And the more I dig through all of the public records, and by me I mean producer Josh as well, the more it appears that $100,000 is just the teeny tiny tip of the iceberg when it comes to government funding following around Project Me. We're still digging through all those records. There's a lot, where the money came from, who awarded it, and exactly what it paid for. And trust me, I'm not done with this story. Because here's the bigger question. When government financially supports an organization, what responsibility does government have when a neighboring business comes forward saying, hey, that organization's operations are hurting. It's hurting our employees, hurting our customers, and ultimately hurting our business. And I already know what's coming back my way. I've heard it so many times as of late. But Kayla, Jesus said to love your neighbor. You are absolutely right. The person struggling with addiction is my neighbor. But so is the teenager, the 17-year-old working behind the counter at Zesto's. So is the business owner who's been there for decades. And so are the parents and the kids at the school across the street. Loving one neighbor does not require abandoning another. Compassion says you have dignity, you deserve help. Accountability says your actions still affect other people. We can and should have both. Because Jesus said, love your neighbor. He didn't say only the neighbor whose story makes you feel something. And like I said, I'm not done digging. But in the meantime, John tells me that since this story went public about the struggles that he's having, he's been ridiculed. He's received hateful messages, death threats, and some people are now calling for a boycott of his business. You know, the same tolerance and compassion we hear always so much about, right up until somebody has the audacity to disagree.
You know, I just want to be heard correctly, and we'll see where it goes.
So if you've listened or heard John's side of the story, in fact, you can get his whole interview online at wowo.com. But if you've heard it and you want to make your opinion known, there's a pretty simple way to do it. Go get some ice cream. Hit up the Zestos on Broadway. They're open noon to 9:30, 7 days a week, and they are a seasonal business. So while they're still scooping, which they will be through about the first, second week of September, while they're still scooping, stop in, grab a cone, and support this almost 80-year-old Fort Wayne institution. And meanwhile, I'll keep doing my own scooping, if you know what I mean. Hey, it's KB. As a show of appreciation for listening, use my promo code WOWO for deep discounts on all kinds of products at MyPillow.com. That's promo code WOWO.
Podcasts by Federated Media.